As we say hello and welcome you to the virtual Daytona International Speedway here for the Daytona Duels here for season 12 of the iSNF Cup Series. Once again, back here, our second season in a row here with the iSNF Cup Series drivers. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer, commentator for tonight's race here once again for Duel 1 of the Daytona Duels here from the World Center of Racing. And a little bit different here compared to what we're probably used to seeing here from, a lot of these other leagues where iSNF has just a little bit something different here. It's nothing new, nothing different, nothing special, but they have it set based off of car number. It's how you go out here and do your duels tonight. So see about 7 minutes left in practice. That's how they have it set up. It's through the car number. So odd numbers will go first for duel 1, and then the even numbered cars will go here for P2 in the second duel right now. Looks like we have around 12 or so odd cars here, a little over 12 cars here showing up to at least duel 1 at the time being. You see about just over 7.5 minutes left in practice here as we go down the trackside to see, some of your fastest drivers here in, this kind of first practice here for duel number 1. We take a look here at the 47, the Ricky Stenhouse machine, piloted by Scott Trusty. Trusty here in the 47. Remember, he drove for Rick Ware Racing last season. Decided to switch up cars. Obviously, still in that Chevy manufacturer, but back here in the number 12 and out of the 51, now into the 47 machine here. Look back here, Michael Thorpe taking over for Will Austin in the 3 this season. Obviously, Will, a lot of success in that number 3 machine. Going to be big shoes to fill in this season there for that number 3 machine. Will Thorpe, Michael Thorpe.
Heads up.
The 3 machine.
19, your paint ain't loading.
Got to turn off a voice chat there. We'll get that fixed real quick for you guys at home. Take a look here for the back here. Parker Stringer in the 35 taking over for James Bowles. James Bowles still in the 2311 camp. I believe he's the team owner for 2311. So Parker Stringer moving over from Legacy to 2311. We look at Don Blazier, familiar face here in the 17. He comes back with RFK Racing in that number 17 machine. Cody Meadows switches ship here from Ford to Chevy as he went from Team Penske now to the number 9 machine in Hendrick. Back at Craig Lautenschlager. Everybody not really on track. Everybody sitting in pit, so we're just going to go through the running order as we see them right now. Craig back in the 77 for Spire. You see him the only car right now coming out on track there, the 77 of Craig. Looking back to Mike Iskandar. I believe he owns Team Trackhouse, so he will once again pilot this number 1. Very synonymous with Mike now in that 1 machine. Obviously piloted by Ross Chastain in real life. And then Sartaj Maan, we saw him do a couple of one-off starts here. I believe he actually was racing for Front Row this last season, running this kind of part-time work filling in, but he got signed to Joe Gibbs Racing full-time with Justin Johnson, who took over Joe Gibbs Racing for season number 12. So Sartaj gets the call up to run full-time in here in this Tracker Bass Pro Shops 19 Toyota Camry. So going to be interesting to see what Sartaj can do in a full-time ride here. Looking up here towards the 33, Miguel Rangel, a new face to the iSNF Cup Series here. Rookie here, I believe, in an iSNF Cup Series. He takes over the 33 machine. It'll be interesting to see what he can do piloting this new car. See him in the Cheddar's patriotic scheme we saw run at the Coke 600. So you may go on track here. Looking at some other drivers on track. Scott Trusty on track. You see Craig Lautenschlager, 77, continuing their run on track here with just over 4 minutes left in practice. Coming down here to 4 flat. It's going to be interesting to see, how the dynamics of everything goes here from Daytona. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. A lot of familiar faces sticking around and staying with their team, but a lot of changes. Obviously, we see the 77 still partnered with Craig here. I don't see him, giving up that ride for a while. He's had a lot of success with Spire and everything else there. But you look at Cody Meadows, who had a lot of success with Team Penske, lots of success with Team Penske. But I got the call up to go drive the number 9 machine here for Hendrick. Obviously, talked to Cody in the offseason, Case's Cody's favorite driver in real life, and he was super enthusiastic to get here and drive the number 9 machine here. So he jumped ship from Team Penske to Hendrick Motorsports. Obviously, Cody in the championship for 2 seasons ago, almost put himself in a spot to race for a championship 2 seasons ago in season 10, and then you look back to season 11. I believe probably a top 5 finishing position in the points. So a good kind of restart for Cody in this 9 team, as he has a whole new set of teammates there, because obviously he kind of got put in the Team Penske camp right from the start when he joined iSNF, driving first to 21, that Wood Brothers machine, obviously very aligned with Team Penske. And then after I was elected to come up here and broadcast these races, he took over the 12 car for me, and obviously has had some pretty good success, won a couple of races there in that 12 machine, something that I couldn't ever do. But obviously got the call up to drive the number 9 here for Hendrick for here in season 12. Going to be interesting see the changes in the dynamics here for Cody. The new set of teammates, new car, obviously running a Chevy now versus that Ford Dark Horse Mustang. Looking back at Don Blazer, he's out on track. A pretty decent season for Don last season. Wasn't the flashiest driver, but when he had an opportunity to put together some good finishes and some good races, was close to cracking into the chase, but just wasn't consistent enough with the finishes to put himself in a spot to race for a championship there in the chase last season in season 11. But back with the familiar team, RFK Racing. Going to be really interesting to see how the 17 can improve here in this Travel Centers of America Ford Dark Horse Mustang. A really nice looking paint scheme here for Don. Going to be interesting to see how that comes out about. And then I would say one of the biggest free agency changes here. Justin Johnson, out of the 22 for Team Penske, actually is now the team owner for JGR, Joe Gibbs Racing here in the iSNF Cup Series. So he takes over the 11 machine away from Charles Roberson. I'm unsure if Charles is actually assigned to a team now, because obviously Charles has driven this 11 machine has at least been a part of the Joe Gibbs family for a long, long time. I remember he used to drive the 20 back in the day while Brian Chu was in the 11. And then when Brian Chu stepped away from full-time racing, Roberson took over. For this 11 machine, and now obviously a new change of hands here is Justin Johnson bought the ownership for Joe Gibbs here in iSNF, and we'll be piloting this in 11 here for season 12. So a lot of big changes, a lot of familiar faces staying in the same cars, but as we are showcasing here in this first duel, a lot of changes here happening here through the off season. You see practice tick down here. We'll get ready to get your qualifying started here for Duel 1. So it looks like 15 drivers showed up here for Duel 1. Obviously, and once again, to iterate things one more time, the way iSNF does it for the duels is they do the odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so forth will be in Duel 1. And then later this evening, we'll have Duel 2 with all the even number cars, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? And further on. The qualifying underway here. 10 minutes of qualifying. I'm sure that was not meant to be put up here. It looks like our first driver on track here in qualifying. Made the 17. We just talked about him, Don Blazer, in this RFK 17 machine. The first person eager to get on track, get this lap set. You'll see, obviously, here at Super Speedways, here at this qualifying, they're going to be flat out here for the perceivable full lap. We're right on board with Don here. He starts his first time lap. Him down to the bottom, and it's always this situation of, you see him still in 4th gear. He needs the upshift here. At least it's showing here on our timing and scoring, still in 4th gear. I guess that is a conversation to have too. Do you keep it in 4th or do you stay in 5th? Because you can go up to 5th, but you can rev it out in 4th. So we'll see how Don sets this first time lap here. The Ford performance on board. Across the stripe, Don Blazier, 50.52. Good lap for Don here. We'll go ahead and take a look at some of the other drivers here. Here comes Justin Johnson out on track. Justin electing to stay in 4th for the time being. Obviously, with the way these super speedways work, the qualifying, what you want to call it, the cheese or the qualifying strategy changes, I feel like from week to week here, because I know there's some times where 5th gear is faster and first lap is faster, but sometimes it's, 4th and 2nd lap or whatever, right? So it's always interesting to me to see, what is faster, who can set the best lap times right now. And it's really interesting to see right now. You see Cody Meadows top of the board there. 50.526 for the number 9 machine. Show your fastest lap times here on the left side of your screen. Justin, it looks like he's going to elect to run the 2nd lap here in this number 11 machine. Still in 4th gear. So obviously, it's the decision of, like, do you talk to your teammates? What do you do to figure out what gear do you run here in qualifying? You see now the 11 down to the bottom. This will be his first time lap. This will be his kind of hot lap, I believe. That lap for him, 50.932. Obviously, that's kind of his warm-up lap there. As you see now, the 33, Miguel Rangel, top of the board, 50.495. Here comes Cody Meadows. Now here comes Craig Launchslaughter. Up to P3 at 533 for that driver in the 77. Justin doing a good job painting that line here. Not really any weird inputs here. Obviously here in qualifying they are allowed, unlike in real life, to go below the yellow line here for qualifying. Justin across the stripe there, 50.446. Not quite enough for the pole. There goes Sartaj Maan to the pole sitter here. He takes it away from his teammate here in that number 19 machine. Parker Schrader back to P10 on his 2nd lap. Gonna be interesting to relearn all these drivers here with the new numbers. I'm so used to Parker being in the 42 machine. Switched over to the 35 here. He sets a 50.528. Put him right there in that top 5 right now. Still 4.5 minutes left. Just over 4.5 minutes left in qualifying. So we'll have, 4 drivers who can set a lap time down. The one of Mike Iskindarn in the front row guys, Van Maastricht, Fairmid, Thorne, who could still set down a lap time here in qualifying if they want to. You'll see running some laps here. Take a look here at probably your pole sitter for tonight's race here, Sartaj Maan, here in duel number 1. Really excited to see what he can do in a full-time role here. with Joe Gibbs Racing. Raced part-time last year with front row and had decent success. Every time I saw him, he was running probably in the top 5-ish. And unfortunately for him, he just kept getting caught up in nonsense, right? Getting caught up in stuff out of his doing. Fortunately for him. See Justin Johnson. Because I'm maybe starting to think this was maybe a 4-lap qualifying effort. Because most of the time you don't see these drivers sit around and run 4 laps out. This might have been a 4-lap race. I remember back in the day, it used to be a 4-lap qualifying effort here. Looks like Justin Johnson coming across the stripe here. Not going to cut the apron, though. 50.03 for Justin there on lap number 4. See Craig still stopped in pit road here. Cody Meadows completing his 4 time laps here. He'll do a little pit entry practice here. See Cody right here. Driver from Martinsville, Virginia. 41 starts, 4 wins on his campaign. We are doing a little bit of a graphics test here, so this is not the final product you'll see for the rest of the race here. This is kind of like what you saw Fox do with the Clash, right? We don't have a Clash. We have the duels here at Daytona. We saw that, you obviously saw this last season, this season actually in 2026 when Fox got their new graphics package. They still use the old ticker there for the Clash. So we're still working out the kinks a little bit in the background here, and myself and the SKS graphics team to make sure that everything is put together right. But got some new features here on the ticker that I'm excited to show you guys here throughout the season here. I'm really excited to see how this comes about here, but you still see just over 2 minutes left in qualifying. I don't really see anybody else coming out and setting a lap time. I don't know if they're going to try to advance the session. I don't know if there's even an admin in here who can advance the session, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We continue to look over the beautiful World Center of Racing here, Daytona International Speedway, from our aerial cams here. As we welcome everybody in to duel number 2. The duel number 1 here looks like Sartaj Maan and the Joe Gibbs Racing teammates there of Mann and Johnson going to be 1, 2. You look back there, RCR. It's going to be, Joe Gibbs Racing, RCR are going to be forward the top 5. You'll see the lone Hendrick Motorsports driver here in duel number 1 right there, sitting on P4, Cody Meadows. Obviously, a lot of drivers, you don't have to race in the duels, right? You can, skip out on the duels and start tail end on the longest line there in the 500 there this next week here, this next Saturday. So it's going to be interesting to see, people who came in. Obviously, we see the 30. Oh, that's probably why is those guys aren't setting a lap time is because, I just realized this. Van Maastricht, Eugene Thorne, Larry Fairman, they're even number cars. They're not really supposed to be in the session. Obviously, they probably joined, wanting to spectate or something like that. And for people that who want to do that here for Duel 2, if you guys are watching and you raced in Duel 1, make sure when you go into the session, because obviously everybody's in the league session, make sure to click spectate instead of join as a driver, so we don't have something like what happened with Van Maastricht, Fairman, and Thorne, who aren't going to be allowed to race but are still going to be on our ticker because they're technically a driver in this session. So for a little, a keynote there. So when instead of clicking register, when you select your car, there's a little caret down there next to the register thing, and you can click spectate to spectate the races. That's how I come in and join into the sessions, because obviously Rhea has it set up to the way the sessions are to where if you're not a part of the league, you can't even join. You can't spectate, you can't do anything. You have to be a part of the iSNF Cup Series League here on the iRacing service to even see the session, unless you might have a friend on the sim that you can join off of. You can't even spectate the race here. So for any drivers who plan on spectating that are going to be that are we're supposed to race in Duel 1 and want to watch Duel 2 from your own sim, or maybe drivers who are in Duel 1 want to go in and watch Duel 2 outside of the broadcast. Make sure to join as a spectator, not as a driver, so we don't have drivers who aren't supposed to be in the race here. But see everybody rated up here. Let's go ahead and take a look at your starting lineup here, presented by High Velocity TV. Starting grid here: Sartaj Mon in a 19 alongside the 11 of Justin Johnson. Parker, my apologies. Back to MP3, Miguel Rangel alongside Cody Meadows in that number 9. Hendrick Motorsports Machine, you see the 3. Not of Will Lawson, but Michael Thorpe Jr. in the 3 alongside Parker Strandra. He moves to the 35 here for season number 12. Greg Longschlager in the number 77. He'll be back there in P7 alongside Don Blazier in that RFK number 17 machine, running at your top 10 tonight. Justin Johnson, Scott Trusty, the number 47 Hayek machine. See further back here, Eugene Thorne. Actually, it's going to be Mike Iskandar running at the field here as those 3 RFM Front Row Motorsports machines not going to be able to race here. They race in Duel 2. Be interesting to see what happens here. So it looks like it's going to be what? 10 cars maybe here, it looks like. 10, 11 cars here in Duel number 1. You'll see that number 19 and 11 get side by side here. So you ready to go down the backstretch. So Joe Gibbs Racing going to lead us to green here. 2 Toyotas lining up on the front row. Taking a look at your race weather for tonight's race. 84-degree air temp, 100-degree track temp. A pretty hot track for Duel number 1. Obviously, I feel like at the super speedways, that's where it's going to matter the least here. But obviously, you see right there, a pretty nice day of racing here from the World Center of Racing. Just say hello to everybody in the live chat. Corvette Lover, I believe that is Wyatt Roberts. Say hello to Wyatt. And obviously Eugene Thorne in the chat. We appreciate you guys coming in and stopping by. Obviously, those guys will be racing in Duel number 2. We're ready to go green here. We'll hand the race over the bar near the flag, man. Green for Duel number 1. Coming down the backstretch for the first time. Gonna be a 19. Sartaj Mon gonna get help from the 33. That RCR machine gonna push out that bottom side, and you see the top side already starting to dwindle, starting to fade. Now here comes the 33. He's gonna jump up to the top side, and the 33 will lead your first lap here in Duel 1. Sartaj will still hold on to the lead there on that bottom side. You'll see that top side try to build some momentum to 33. Miguel in the 33 will try to build the momentum. Gonna have help from the 11 of Justin Johnson. Gonna have help from the 9 of Cody Meadows. Now here comes the 19 of Sartaj. He's gonna jump up there, help that top, help from that Toyota teammate there, back in third in that top line there. Justin gonna try to help it out, but here comes the 3, Michael Thorpe. He said, well, Sartaj gonna jump up to the top. I'm gonna take over this bottom line. Help from the 77 of Lautenschlager, help from Devin Scott Trusty in the 47. Remember, 60 lap race here. So I do not expect these guys to be racy. Everything else, they cannot afford to tear these cars up here in the duels. This is just, quite frankly, just for where they start in the race. This is not to make it into the race, especially with just 11 cars showing up tonight. Nothing that these guys have to do except just get it home. Obviously, if they want to wreck it up here, I guess they can, right? But, I mean, this is just for your starting spot here. And at the very worst, you're going to be starting, you know what, 21st. So, it's going to be interesting to see here. See Sartaj, that bottom line starting to get some momentum, trying to start to scoot away. As now you see the 11 and the 9 of Johnson and Meadows going to have to foul their way to the back here. Justin gets in line. Going to make Cody Meadows have to jump back and right behind the 35 there of Parker Strainer, right in front of Mike Iskandar. And Mike right now is trying to hold on here, trying to make it play it safe here. You know, 60 lap feature. A lot can happen, right? You hear him out. He borderline fuel saving. You see him, hear him lifting into the corners here. Last car in this lead lap there. Still a car, and then you see Shane Johnson back there. He's already 20 odd seconds behind this whole pack there. I don't know if he missed the start or if what happened there, but he is already half a lap down here in that number 45 machine for 2311 Racing. So you're riding on board with Mike here. I mean, half throttle. Further up though, it's still a single file line here. The front 3 kind of starting to break away a little bit. And the rest of the pack there, Craig, a little bit of a gap back up to the top 3 there. He's just trying to hold on here for now. I feel like trying to bide his P's and Q's. I feel like that's what everybody's doing right now, just riding in line, trying to figure out when is the time to pit. Right? I don't think there's no way they can make it 60 laps here on fuel. Right? I mean, 65. I mean, you can go, I think 65, 70 laps at a mile and a half. This is a 2.5 mile beast here, the World Center of Racing here in Daytona Beach, Florida. They're going to have to figure out this fuel strategy. I think that's exactly what's happening right now. Everybody just sitting in line, trying to mind their P's and Q's, trying to make sure everything happens right. But looking back, Mike Iskandar at risk of losing the lead draft here. He's got to pick it up. I think he might have just lost it there. Now, yeah, he definitely lost it. 2 seconds behind Cody Meadows in the 9 machine. Iskandar has lost the back of the pack here. And obviously, it's going to take a lot of time for him to get back up with Shane Johnson in the 45 here. You see him 37 seconds back to the leader here. And you see probably, what, 32 laps, 32 seconds behind Mike here in that number 1 machine. So Mike, unfortunately, loses the lead draft there. You see Cody Meadows in the back, lashing on the last driver here in the lead pack here. So it's a 9-car field here for this lead pack there, and then a couple of stragglers 10th on back. Sartaj Maan continues the lead here, looking further back here. And some help from the 33. The 2 RCR Chevrolets there lined up second and third. I wonder, let's go on board here and look at the inputs here. I think I hear Sartaj even lifting as the race leader. Obviously, it's hard to tell here. But it sure sounds like he's lifting here. It definitely sounds like he's lifting here. Trying to save fuel as the leader here. We're looking at the lap times here, about 40 47.9. So the best lap here for the pack was a 46.8. They're running almost a second a lap slower than they could be here. So yeah, I think Sartaj also trying to save a little bit of fuel here to potentially try to get to the halfway point in this duel. I presume try to make it halfway. They try to make it a one-stop race. But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of the sucky thing about the next gen here. If you got to stretch fuel, this is kind of what you see right here. Just everybody just kind of sitting in line, just trying to manage stuff here. You're not going to see any racing here, at least for this, by the looks of it, for the first half of this race. Everybody just trying to sit in line, trying to set themselves up for success here in this duel. Look back at Shane Johnson. I mean, he's about to get lapped here. Only a couple seconds ahead of that lead pack. I mean, this is what I'm saying here, right? I mean, I don't know if Shane is saving, but you see, look, the pack coming through out of 2 there. They're catching him at a rapid pace, and he's going full bore, right? Sooner or later, this front pack will catch the 45. You see the 45 up the track there a little bit. If I'm him, I'm just going to run the bottom. Because anytime you go up above that, double yellow line, you're just giving away time. That's just extra feet you're adding to the lap. And with no drafting help, you're just basically slowing your lap down here. I could see maybe doing kind of the qualifying line there where you wrap the bottom here in the corners and kind of drift up. Try to keep the momentum high, right? Because obviously wrapping the yellow line actually kind of loses a little bit of momentum. But for the 45, he's all over the place a little bit. And you'll see the 45 very rapidly probably approach the 4-shot of this front pack here. He's about to be the first car to go a lap down here, probably within the next lap or two. Maybe even this lap here with how fast they're going. Look back at the top speeds here, around 185. 180, 185. Shane is going about 176, so about 10 miles an hour slower than the lead pack, who is howling him down here, and he should be probably going a lap down here. On lap 12 here, you see him in the 4-shot there, just trying to hold on. I guess would hope for a caution, but everybody is racing very, very cordially, trying to save a little bit of fuel here. See the 45. I'm interested to see if they actually keep that 45 out in front to kind of save some fuel off of him. Because you saw they got to the back of the 45 and they did not swallow this Camry up here. I'm interested to see. 45 is going to go up the track actually. And the 45, he does not want to lead this pack. He is lifting to let these guys go. I think Sartaj was okay letting him lead the line here. And that way Sartaj could have saved a little bit of fuel there. Obviously 2 Toyota teammates there. I'm not sure if they're in the same call together. You can actually look right real quick here. Shane is in the same call as those Toyotas. So I'm very, very interested. Very interesting to see him say like, no, I want to go to the back here, because it would have helped Sartaj save tremendously a lot more fuel here. And he's already a lap down, right? If all else fails here, he's definitely burned the most amount of fuel here out of the front pack. But if they wreck, he stays on the lead lap there if he's leading the field here. And not only that, he's helping his Toyota teammate save a little bit of fuel. But Shane, he's going to sit back in line there, get behind Cody Meadows there in the 9 machine as he sits back there. The 9 car back there in P9. Just trying to hold on here, trying to just save a little bit of gas. You'll see Sartaj in the 19 leading the way here. And those 2 RCR drivers. I feel like these 2 are the only kind of 2 guys who are kind of pushing a little bit here. Go on board here with the 3. Not quite getting to the bumper there, but I mean, he's definitely probably the furthest up someone's rear end here than anybody else is. He's still doing a good job. I feel like, once again, everybody's just trying to save fuel here. And they've even backed up the pace even more here. Now they're running almost 2 seconds slower than their fastest lap of the race here. The best lap, you know, their fastest lap for this pack, 46.8. Now they're running about 48.6s. So continuing to slow the pace down, trying to make it to lap number 30 here. As we approach the 1/4 mark here in duel number 1. We see some side-by-side racing further back here. The 9 of Cody Meadows has had enough. Said, I'm tired of fuel saving. I want to go. Right, here comes the 77. Here comes the 33. These all Chevys here on the top side. The price of 3. Did not go with his RCR teammate there, but here comes Miguel, the 33. He's going to go up there, try to take the race lead away. Up from the 77 of Craig and the 9 of Cody Meadows. Here comes the 47 of Scott Trusty. He's jumping up to the top side now. 77 gets clear. He jumps down to the bottom side. I don't know if I like that move out of Craig. If you want this line to prevail here, I feel like you want to get everybody cleared and jump down, because right now you just left your Chevy teammates down there on the top row and just kind of abandoned them for a Toyota, right? And now here comes Sartaj doing a good job keeping that 77 out in front. First contact I've seen, you know, pushing wise here. And you hear now the 77, he's lifting once again here. Just this cat and mouse game of like track position. Got a 77, he pushed to get up to the race lead, and now he's back up here leading the race, but he's once again lifting, trying to save a little bit of fuel. I thought maybe all these drivers had hit their fuel marker of like, okay, I can make it to halfway potentially. Now I can push to try to get the lap 30 here. You know, we're approaching 12 to go here to the halfway point. And now you see the 77 took the race lead back to, you know, coasting around. I mean, they definitely dropped the time there. You know, they were about a second faster that last lap that they were running, you know, the last 5 or so laps there. Back down to the 47s. Obviously, we saw them running in the 46s before. Back up to the 47s. See Sartaj actually pushing out this 77 a little bit. Trying to build a little bit of gap. He's got the 11 of Justin Johnson. They've gotten linked up there. 2 and 3 on the bottom side there. And now that top side completely folds now. Back to single file racing here on lap number 19. To the 35. Jumping up top side here. Help from the 47. Help from the 9. These are, you know, I don't mind seeing this, right? I'd rather see these guys go 2x2 and run out of fuel than, you know, run half throttle their whole race to try to, you know, make it more easy to make success for yourself here. It's a duel. We want these guys to race. We do not want these guys to sit in line there. I don't care if it takes 2 pit stops, right? Go out there and race. There's nothing that's going to hurt you here. The worst you're going to finish right now is probably P10, honestly, now with Shane Johnson. You know, trap the lap down. Go out there and race. Have fun. You know, this isn't the 500. This isn't the crown jewel yet. Go out there, have fun. Go and be aggressive. Go show, you know, the other drivers tonight that you might be a force to be reckoned with next week coming into the Daytona 500. To the 47, Scott Trusty, he takes the race lead, jumps up and jumps down in front of the 35 who helped him get up there. That's going to be Cody Meadows. And the number 33 of Miguel Rangel up to the top side. It's a 2B, you know, 7 almost right here. Everybody's jumping back down to the bottom. It's going to be Cody Meadows. trying to spearhead this top side, but unfortunately, and the numbers are not there. We'll see once again. See that number 9 try to get up to the front. Not going to get the help. He's going to probably follow the back here. This is the downside of not having teammates in these duels, right? See the 47. Technically, he doesn't have a teammate. Just did a good job getting up to the front. But you saw, you know, that these two JGR Toyotas right here, they've been linked together here. Once they got together, they had not left each other. You look back at the two RCR drivers. When they were linked together, they were pretty okay working with each other. And the funny thing is like Cody could have had a teammate in Steven Sear who could have showed up and raced tonight. The 77 of Craig Lockenslutter could have had a teammate. And the 7 and the 71, all three of those Spire cars are odd numbers. So yeah, I'm surprised to see that, you know, Craig was the only one who wanted to show up and try to, you know, put Spire Motorsports on the map here in Duel 1. I mean, it's definitely kind of a detriment here. Obviously, he does have some Chevy teammates that he might be working with. I'm not sure. Like we talked about, RCR dropping to the back there. They're back here, 8th and 9th. Single file back here. Looking to the voice calls. Obviously, Cody is in the Hendrick Motorsports camp, but, you know, his other two teammates, Thomas Flynn, Chris Otto, the 48 and the 24, those guys are even numbers. They couldn't have, you know, tried to help if they even wanted to here. Now here comes the 35, Parker Stranger, and he leads some laps here. And you just saw right there, I think that's just a test of the fuel saving that's happening right now. Parker jumped out of line, went full throttle, and passed the 47 like he had, you know, 200 more horsepower. Not 35, but he wants to jump up, lead some laps here in duel number 1. As we get ready to approach the halfway point here. Just 7 laps away here from the halfway point in tonight's race. And then we might start to see some drivers potentially start to figure out when pitting is going to be something they want to do. Mike Iskandar just came down pit road. So he's going to have to go 30 plus laps here on this stint here. I don't know if that's what you wanted to do there. Obviously, Mike was kind of on his own in no man's land. But not only does he have to stretch it further than anybody else, he has to do it, you know, running full throttle here. Here comes the Toyotas. Justin Johnson, Sartaj Maan. They jump up to the top side. They retake the race lead here. You know, and you start to see the aggressiveness start to pick up here. We're about 5 laps away from potential green flag pit stops here in duel number 1. You're going to start to see these guys start to work with each other, try to get up to the front, try to get the track position before everybody takes that hard left turn down pit road for some green flag pit stops here. I presume we'll probably just do fuel only. You know, I don't see, especially at these super speedways, it being possible to take tires until, you know, after a couple runs here. And here comes the whole pack down pit road here. Everybody outside of the lap car, the 45 of Shane Johnson, the 47 going to spin out, the 35 here of Parker Stringent coming down pit road. Parker's got to get that thing refired as soon as he can. That's most likely going to drop him outside of this lead pack here. We'll go back and take a look and see what happened here to the 35. Parker coming down here, and the 47 just locks up the rears, gets that car sideways, and just hooks the 35 up the track there. Unfortunate. Nothing that the 35 did wrong, but it is going to cost him big time. He's probably going to lose that lead pack here as everybody else coming out on track. Sartaj, Justin Johnson, those two Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota is doing a good job coming down in and out of pit road there. They actually have a pretty sizable gap to the rest of the field back here. Little four-car pack there, led by the 77 of Craig. And further on back, some stragglers there. The 47 of Scott Trusty on his own. Cody Meadows on his own. Parker Strainer really much on his own. But Cody Meadows, what happened to the 9 here? He's going to have trouble. He's probably going to lose the lead draft here. The only thing he can do is maybe ask Scott to back up to him and say, like, let's work together, try to see if we can get to the front. Like if I'm Scott, I mean you've lost the lead pack too. If I'm Scott, you start to slow down quite a bit. Go try to pick up that 9. See if you guys can work together to get to the front. And that tells me right there that there's probably it's a 35 lap run to the end there, which is interesting because why were they saving fuel then? Here we go. I think Scott's lifting here. Try to get Cody back connected. Cody's catching him pretty quickly here. Remember, these two are technically alliances here with Hayek and Hendrick. Obviously, Hayek running the Hendrick engine, so technically affiliated. And here's Scott just trying to lift out of the gas here, try to get Cody caught back up here. Those two are already about 6.5 seconds behind, you know, the 6th place car, Miguel. These guys are going to have to work pretty hard to get back up to the front pack if they want a shot to go race for Duel win number 1. Cody approaching here with rapid pace here. Going to have to start pushing this 47 as hard as he can. I mean, you see the 45 there back there as well. He's not that far behind. If I'm Cody, I might say, hey, let's back up to the 45. See if we can pick him up, right? He's only about half a straightaway back. Some racing further up here. Craig going to jump out of line here. Going to try to retake the race lead here. No help, but getting that run up from the top side. This is another thing of saving fuel. Craig just jumped up there. Basically went full throttle. Retook your race lead here. Now he's going to try to dictate this race one more time. We saw him do this before. Jump up in front. We'll see him continue to modulate the gas here. Hear him lifting there, at least in the corners. I'll say this for the 45, Shane Johnson, you know, him staying out that extra lap almost got him back on a lead lap here because, I mean, it's questionable whether that the 35 going around should have been a caution, right? He got that caution. He stayed out that extra lap. He would have been on the lead lap, but unfortunately the caution did not come out here. So that 45 Trumba Casino Toyota Camry is still going to be trapped a lap down there, back there in P10. Still ahead of Mike Iskandar, about 4.5 seconds back behind him. But, man, once again, back to single file racing here. Now it's a 6-car pack here for this lead pack. And then you see Scott Trusty, Cody Meadows, about, you know, 10-ish seconds behind this lead pack. As we eclipse the halfway point in tonight's race. The 77 continue to lead. You know, Frank, if you want to be in the booth, yeah, I mean, you can join me. If you join a VC, I can drag you in here for sure. You still watching the broadcast, Frank? We'll see single file racing through here, eclipsing the halfway point in tonight's race. And duel number 1. And it's going to be fuel saving galore here. And back to Cody Meadows, Scott Trusty. Looks like Meadows got around Scott Trusty here. I don't know, maybe Meadows got hot, trying to push, and then they just flip spots here. But now I see the 9 out front here. But unfortunately, Scott Trusty not really getting to the back end with the 9 machine here. And I know it's hard to push here when there's only 2 cars. So if I'm Cody, or if I'm Scott, I'm telling Cody, just drive the brake a little bit. I need to get back to you, right? Because this, you know, little bubble thing actually slows you down. If you're not up there physically pushing this 9 out, right? When you get to this bubble, it's actually a little bit slower doing this, right? But if I'm Scott, or if I'm Cody, I know Cody's a really good super speedway racer. He knows what he's doing for the most part. You got to drag the brake and let that 47 get back up to your back bumper. I get it. The air bubble is not the best here in these next gen cars, especially here on the sim. And I'm excited to see, you know, what this new Daytona package is going to do here in the summer here when we go back to Daytona in real life, to see if that's going to change the way this car handles at all, if that's going to improve the racing. But you guys got to get linked up here. You're just going to continue to just bleed time and bleed time here. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, as they continue to try to, you know, make up time here. We have Frank DeAngelis up here in the HPTV booth. He'll be racing in duel number 2, but Frank, obviously fuel saving galore here in duel number 1.
Oh, yeah. I saw they made it, what, 25 laps before they had to come in? 26?
Yeah.
All right. And they got 25 to go, so I personally don't think they're going to be able to make it. They're going to have to pit one more time for how much fuel, probably less than 3 gallons, but there's no way they can push that extra, like, 3 laps.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about in the broadcast too, Frank, is because, like, they're just still in line, just single file, just trying to save fuel here. And I'm like, I mean, it's a duel at the end of the day. It's not, this isn't a 500. This isn't for any marbles, right?
No.
I'm just surprised to see them sitting back here, you know, half throttle. I mean, the leader.
Justin's fastest lap of this race was a 46.66. That last lap was a 51.6.
Yes. Yeah. It's
So if they just pull away, that's about a 5-second difference. If they pull away, hit for like 3 gallons, just enough to make those extra few laps, they're gonna win by like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and looking back here, the Cody Meadows, Scott Trusty, last lap, they were 7 seconds behind. They are now 3 seconds behind, right? So that's
they're going.
Yeah, this is the difference between going and saving, right? You know, they were almost 13 seconds behind now, and just like that, Cody Meadows, help from Scott Trusty, and they're not even linked up, right, with the bubble that I was talking about before you just joined, right? They're not even really linked up.
Cody's not late on the brakes, yeah.
Yeah, he's not backing up to the 47 to even optimize the speed out of this 2-car pack, and they've easily caught back up here.
They're going 10 miles an hour faster than the last few guys.
Yeah, and I guess, you know,
I think they noticed. They just broke into like 3 mini tandems. I think they started to notice that.
And you see the front forward back into a little mini pack here. The 2 Joe Gibbs
2 seconds faster.
Yeah, you see the 2 Joe Gibbs Toyotas leading the field here, forward in the Chevy, and then further back, see the 33, the 77. They're gonna back up to Cody and the 47 to Trusty, and so everybody's kind of back with each other once again here. Now it's about, once again, you know, how much are you willing to push? How much are you willing to save? I guess I don't know. I feel like the only way I would save here is if I knew I could make it to the end here. Because if you could just push here and just, you know, get away 10, 15, 20 seconds and take just, even if it's 5 seconds more fuel, right, they're still going to come out ahead of the guys who still will probably have to pit and just take less fuel.
Yeah, I think they all realize they're not making it, and they're all going to have to stop at least one more time because the pace is picked up by at least 3 to 4 seconds from 5 laps ago.
Yeah, last lap for most of the field out in this lead pack around the 48.5 to 48.6s here. Compared to, you know, the 51, 52 second laps we just saw a couple laps ago. So I think it's time to go here for these drivers. See now Justin Johnson taking over the race lead here. He's going to jump to the back here. Don Blazier now will pass here on that in the RFK machine. I think
Don's checking up. Don doesn't. None of these guys want to lead. It almost causes a wreck. Oh my!
It's just no one wants to lead the race here because obviously for people that don't know, watching at home, if they're watching for the first time, you know, the leader, they have the most air on the car. They're using up the most amount of fuel. And obviously fuel mileage is, I guess, the name of the game tonight here. Don does not want to lead, but unfortunately they're saying no. Like, if I will check up with you to make sure you keep the race lead here. Here comes the 77, help from the 9, help from the 47. A huge one from the top. And once again, we've seen this a couple times out of the 77. He'll go up there, get a huge run, jump up to the top there. He'll retake the race lead, and then he'll go back to, you know, the fuel saving mode there as the race leader. I'll leave the 47 and Scott Trusty by himself there, lone man on the top. Gonna have to try to find a hole or jump to the back, whichever. I think he's trying to find a hole in between the 11 and the 17.
Oh yeah, they're back to saving. They're running high 49s now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they went 25 laps, right? Which means they have to go 35 this stint, right? So, I mean, I don't know if the most they could do was 25 or, because I believe, you know, when I was running, once again,
probably close.
Once again, I guess NIS they run 100% fuel. I believe here in iSNF we run 60%. So that's going to change a whole lot as well. So I'm not sure what the fuel window looks like here with these Cup cars. If 25 is the most they can go, but still, after they save an extra 10 laps, I mean, this has to be grueling if you're just having to sit around on a ride.
I will say I'm in this next duel. I don't know who's showing up on the next duel, but if I could find 1 or 2 people and just go, hey, look at what these dummies did in Duel 1. Let's do the opposite. So it's good to watch this from a bird's eye view to actually learn what not to do and what to do for my duel. So
yeah, it's definitely a good perspective to see as a driver, you know, coming in, trying to see. I mean, we see this in real life, right, where drivers have teammates in another duel. Obviously, iSNF set up a little bit differently where the duels are set up by car number versus qualifying speed, but you know, you learn from your teammates.
Hand out the window from the 19 car.
Sartaj.
He's coming to the pits.
Knows he can't make it. But I'm going to come down. And is he going to take the whole field with him? Most of them. And the 19, that's a fake out.
Oh, they faked it, and around goes the 47 into the wall.
Got Trusty. He had issues the first time coming down pit road here. Got the 35. And now you'll see him with a mistake once again.
They faked those guys.
See the 47 here on the replay of what happened to Scott. You're coming down pit road. Yeah, once again, just overcooked entry. Spins it out there. Huge front. Huge lick to the front end there. Somehow it just morphs back on like a Lego piece. But, yeah, another issue for Scott coming out pit side here. So now it's going to be kind of, in a way, 2 different pit strategies here. As you see a 3-car pack here. JGR.
They're going full bore.
RCR now. In a little 4-car pack here. Going full bore, going full push here. I think this is the goal, right? You know you can't make it. Yeah, might as well push now. Get a huge gap before you guys have to come down pit road here. Versus these other guys who basically just saved the whole time. And none of these guys are really put together. There's a little 3-car pack here, the 35, the 77, and the 9. But these guys are not organized at all versus this front pack who have 4 cars pushing pretty hard to try to get away. So now the question is,
from this point on, those guys that just pit, they're good on gas, but can they push as hard as these guys are? Oh, they're coming in now.
They're coming in now. I think maybe they did try to pit that last lap and just couldn't get formed enough to do it that time by, because you see them come down this time, right? So you'll see the 19, the 11, the 3, and the 33. You know, 2 teammates for 2 separate teams, but all these guys doing a good job working together, trying to get away here. Everybody down here, I don't expect to see any tires taken here. Just a
Yep,
little.
no, doesn't look like no tires, just gas.
RCR doing a good job coming down pit side here. And here comes Mike Iskandar. He's a lap down, so not going to be anything to worry about here. But
45 is also a lap down. I think they're gonna merge well ahead of that other group.
so we're on board with the 77 here. Craig Longslaughter about 5.5 now. I mean, obviously closing in really quickly here. And I don't think they're going to be close here. About 3 seconds of closing here on that front pack. Those guys have to get up to speed and get going pretty quickly here. Going to be close to see whether these guys can at least get a little bit of the sip of the draft here. Approaching 2 seconds. Going to be close to see. I think if these guys work together well enough there, I think
They're already going fast. Yeah,
they might have
that
it.
front group is already going faster.
What a call by these front four drivers. And it's interesting to see, you know, RCR, a Chevy team, KGR, a Toyota team working together strategy-wise. This is exactly what you want there. They're actually starting to pull away from the 77, the 9, and the 35 here. They also have a little bit of draft here in front of them to help, to help tow them and gain a little bit of speed from drivers 5th on back here. These are guys just, frankly, just had a mistake down pit road here. Going to be laps down there. You see Don Blazer. You see the 45 car right in front there. I can't tell who that other driver is right there. It looks like the 47, potentially a trusty. That is the 47. And now do they make the pass here? They will jump up to the top side. Get around these lap cars here. And here comes the Mike Iskandar. Oh, Mike looks like he's going to jump up to the top side here and try to get out of the way most likely. He'll go 3 wide here in the 1 and 2. Now these guys got to get reorganized here to get away here, because now racing side by side, that's just going to slow them down. Allow that second pack to potentially try to gain a little bit of speed on them. That second pack, not the speed that they want. They're already back to about 3.5 seconds back behind, you know, this big gaggle of cars here. Kind of lead lap cars mixed in now with some lappers.
Now that these lap cars are mixed into this pack, usually with the next gen, like 3 to 4 cars is faster than 5 to 6 cars. This pack is about 8, I think, 8 or 7 cars. So that's going to create more checking up for people in the single file line. They're not going to be able to push as fast because it's going to be a bigger conveyor belt. It's going to make them go a little slower.
Issue is, I think,
that gap, yeah.
The issue is, I think it's now a 2-car pack there in that second pack. It's the 77 and the 9. I don't know what happened to the 35. He's down pit road again. He might have had a penalty, maybe a drive-through or something, because he's down pit side again. So that went from a 3-car back now to back to a 2-car pack, the 77 and the 9, and that's like worst case scenario for these two.
That is terrible. They're gonna need this front pack to wreck.
Well, it's definitely doable here, because now, I mean, it's push, right? There's full bore now for the rest of the way here. Everybody can make it on fuel. No need to save anything now. Just who can, you know, make the maneuvers, who can get up to the front, who can try to get this dual win. As you see the 2 RCR Chevrolet Camaros leading the field here. That's something you don't really want to see. 2 teammates, 1-2 here, leading the pack here with coming to 10 to go.
And at 19, the 11 are split. They got 2 lap cars in between them.
And not only that, there are 2 lap cars that are not aligned, right? It's a Toyota staying with the Chevy and a Ford, right? So they're not going to cut that 11 any slack there to get back, you know, formed up with his teammate there. Obviously, they can make some moves here in these last 10 laps to try to get back together there. Maybe the 19 jumps up top to try to grab the 11 or something. They try to make a last run effort here. But these lap cars are probably going to dictate who wins this race here in Duel 1.
There's another lap car, that 35 you mentioned earlier. They're going to get the tow from him.
And Parker Stranger in the 35 jumps up to the top. Well, another lap car going to be brought in the wings here of this front pack. And yeah, I mean, if you're Cody Meadows, if you're Craig Lockenschlager, you just need a caution here. And I I mean, I'm not going to say it's not out of the realm of the possibilities here, especially if you're like someone like Justin, who's might be a little bit frustrated. You know, you got these lap cars boxing you in. You got 2 in front, you got 1 behind. There's not really anywhere forward you can go. I mean, I'm not going to say Justin will cause an incident, but he's going to have to do something to try to get up there with his teammate. And now 10 to go here from Daytona. I mean, the top 3 lined up here, single file, 1, 2, 3, leading the pack here. And a couple of lappers. Once again, we talked about it here. Sandwiching the Joe Gibbs Toyota teammates here. The 47. Scott Trusty alongside Don Blazier. Here comes the 11 to the top side. Gonna get some help from his Toyota teammate, the 35, to try to get something formed on this top side. And be side by side with his teammate here for P3. So now it's, what can this top side do? And do any of these lap cars jump up to the top side, then make it a little bit of a battle here. Obviously the 35 doing the best he can to try to get this top side working. But once again, the bottom starting to prevail is no help to the top side there. There's 2 Toyotas. Only driver coming up. Now here comes the 19. Looked high for a second. Now jumps back down to the 17. A little bit squirrely there in the back. At least the 35. At least 11 has a line teammate there, the 35 now, who can work with them. Obviously, we know Parker is a lap down. But obviously, it's the super speedways.
Oh, yeah, there we
game.
go. Gonna be a 3v3. 2 lead lap and 1 lap car versus 2 leaders and 1 lap car.
And it's gonna be 3 Chevys versus 3 Toyotas. Here comes a 3 wide move here. Sartaj
He tried
through the
to
middle.
block it. He just went to the middle.
And here we go, a lap car in the mix here. So we're gonna be 3 wide. We're gonna be almost 4 wide here. Here comes the 45 into the realm. Where did they put him? 4 wide here in the back there, 3 wide. Worst place to catch the lap car here, but Sartaj takes the flag here. He'll lead, coming here with 7 to go, 6 to go here in duel number 1.
Seven laps to go. These guys have started to heat it up. They're getting a feel for it. Still single file. With these cars, you need not 1, not 2, but maybe 3 cars with you to actually do anything.
I would say the bad thing about this whole situation.
Whoa!
Whoa, the 47 jumping in line there. Justin cannot be happy about that. Yeah, you're going to bump him out of line there. But I see the one issue now that this 19's in is, once again, he got split up from his teammates there. He's leading the race, but, he's got a Chevy there right behind him who's he's going to try to do everything he can to probably win this race. That 33's been aggressive all race long to try to stay up, keep that 33 up front there. And I guess
he's got the lap car in 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, once again, the 33 and this 19 kind of on an island of their own, separated by a lap car there. Don Blazier in the 17. But I guess the 33 has the closest teammate versus the 19 there. I mean, the 3 is right behind the lapper versus Justin, who is a couple cars behind there. Granted, Justin does have the 35, who once again will jump up to the top side. Going to try to get help here. Making the run here on the top side here with 6 going to 5 to go here as we cross the stripe.
They got 3 cars, but none of them are even near each other's bumpers. There's going to be no momentum with those guys.
You'll see the 11 trying to get down there, trying to side draft that bottom side, and here comes the run from the top side. So it's going to be 2 JGR Toyotas battling out for the race lead here. Justin will get clear. He'll drop down. He'll actually abandon the 35 who got him up there. I would have maybe tried
to think that the 19 check up a little bit to get those 2 Toyotas up there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Justin back up to the top. If I'm Justin here, I'm gonna try to get the 35 clear if you can, and then you drop down, because you'll have that designated kind of helper there to get you to the front, keep you up front here. As we approach now 5, now 4 to go as we cross the stripe. They're a little squirrely in the 3 and 4.
The intensity is at its max. They know the end is in sight. They're going to do whatever they can to either win or push a fellow manufacturer to that win.
Yeah, you see now, side by side once again. Justin trying to get to that right rear quarter panel of the 19 of Sartaj. Two teammates trying to battle it out there, but Sartaj, I think, gets clear for now. Gonna need a little bit more of a bigger run. Here comes the 35. Gonna split the 11. 3 wide here. Not what you wanted to see there. 35 jumps out of line there. Knows it's not his fight. Here comes the 33 to the top side.
His teammate Alexis stay on the bottom. Gonna be a Gibbs RCR, kind of a diagonal kind of thing.
Oh, looking to squeeze that 19 down on the bottom there. Almost a little bit of contact between your two race leaders. See now the 3 pushing the 19, and you'll see the 11 trying to push that 33 back up to the lead here. And it's kind of a weird dynamic, right? Do you help the guy who's not your teammate? But you see the bottom, once again, really good push from the 3. That top side, not uniform at all. 11 needs to get back up to the 33 to try to make something happen here down the backstretch. See, wow, the 35 really trying to get that 17 going there on that bottom side. Really making that 17 upset here, but here comes another one from the top side. Here comes Miguel once again in that 33. Help from the 11, trying to make something happen. It's a 2-car tango now, 3-car tango on that top side. But we go to 2 to go here from Daytona. So the 17 off the track there, gonna remerge safely, but gonna get out of the way here. They let these leaders race it out here for the win. Still side by side for your race lead in the 1 and 2. In the 19. And that bomb just looks, it's always seems to be a little bit better formed up than that top side now. Once again, everybody abandoning the top side. 33 going to start to fall back, as well as the 11. 11 going to jump back in line. We hit the white flag here from Daytona in duel number 1. It's going to be Sartaj. Mon leading us back to the stripe there. Can he hold on to win duel number 1?
Sartaj leading the bottom. Justin leading the top. They're side by side. Dead even. They got 3 cars apiece. Bottom is way more linked than the top.
And that 47 just cannot get linked up with the 11 here down the backstretch. But somehow Justin still staying side by side with his Toyota teammate. He's going to try to get clear here going into 3 and 4. Will he drop down in front of his teammate? No, he's going to stay up top there, try to use the momentum. And then 11 going to go around off the bumper, the 47.
And they're all wrecked. They're all wrecked. All the leaders are wrecked.
All the leaders are wrecked. It's going to be
Who's
a race
gonna
back
win?
to the line. I think it's going to be Sartaj.
Sartaj is going to win this.
Call it an Eric Jones win. All tore up across the line. He gets across the line first. No right front tire on that car. He survives to win duel number 1 here in a huge wreck here coming into 3 and 4.
Oh, man. Man, oh, man.
We'll take a look real quick to see what happened here. It looks like Justin Johnson off the bumper of the 47 from my recollection here. Going into 3 and 4. An aggressive shove to the back of the 11. And just not centered there. Up the track, Justin goes. And you see, oh my lord, the 47 up and over into the catch fence there. A huge tumble for him. And you see Sartaj just able to limp it across the line here. First out of these lead lap cars there. He'll get it done in duel number 1. What a finish there. And the end duel 1 there can be Sartaj, Miguel, and Michael Thorpe. Those could be RCR 2-3 in duel number 1. See if Sartaj has the car to try to burn it down here on the front stretch for you fans at home. Obviously, pretty tore up here for the 19.
Oh, he's trying.
Just like that, proof of smoke, and Sartaj just out of the car. We'll see if we can grab Sartaj, if he wants an interview for tonight for winning duel number 1. See if we can potentially grab him, talk to him, and see his point of view of how that race ended here. See if we can find Sartaj. I don't see him in any of the VCs, so maybe we'll not get to talk to.
They're in 23XI.
Yeah, I see that now. See if Sartaj wants to join the waiting room for an interview. If not, he will wrap up, look at our unofficial race results tonight, and get ready for duel number 2, which, talking on duel 2, Frank, you'll be in it. Obviously, up here in the booth, you learned a lot here from duel number 1. Anything you're going to take away from this first duel going into, duel number 2 for you in that number 54 machine?
I'm gonna find maybe a few people that I could trust, and we're gonna say, go to hell with the fuel saving. If it turns into that situation where we're all single file, we're just gonna say to hell with it, and we're gonna go full bore. It's a duel. It's kind of a practice race for the 500, so I'd really like to see what not saving at all where is gonna get me compared to running 5 seconds off a lap to save like 3 laps of gas. So expect for some entertainment.
That's going to be interesting to see, as we do have Sartaj here waiting on us for his race interview here. We'll go ahead and drag him up here in the HVTV booth. Hey, Sartaj, it's Christian and Frank up here in the HVTV booth. Got a copy?
Yep, got you.
Well, first of all, congratulations on a, I would say, chaotic, but also lackluster kind of first duel here from Daytona. Obviously, it looked like a fuel strategy game for most of the race there, but obviously a chaotic turn 3 and 4 there on the white flag lap. You were able to limp it home there to win your first duel. Obviously, I believe you also qualified on the pole here for this first duel, which would all automatically lock you into the pole sitter for next week's feature there for the 500. But just walk us through your race tonight. Walk us through that interesting duel number 1.
Honestly, the whole race, I was just trying to help out the 2311 guys and the one other JGR driver there. But I mean, yeah, it was just fuel saving most of the race. I mean, you saw it. Like we were going like 170 at a point in the race just because we were trying to cut the fuel out and take shorter stops. But by the end of the race, I don't know how I won that. I went head on into the wall, so it was crazy.
And walk us through that last lap crash there. We saw, obviously everybody trying to push to go take the win away, and obviously you saw Justin get hooked by the 47, who was not even racing for the win there, but I think was just trying to help that 11 get out front. And walk us through just the chaos of just trying to get through that wreck after already getting tore up yourself.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was trying to let Justin win it because I'm already locked into the front row. So I was like, oh, let me just like let him have it. But he got turned, and I was like, oh shoot, like. And then after that, it was just I gotta avoid everybody else, which I didn't. But I got a good push from the one there, like right after I got hit. So just catapulted me past everybody else.
Well, 24 laps led tonight, just under, half the laps led tonight here from Daytona. A good start here for season number 12. Obviously, full time here in the number 19. We saw you run part time, at least for Furniture Row this last season. What's the outlook for this 19 team as you, pursue, I believe, your first full time season here in the iSNF Cup Series?
Yeah, it'll be my first full-time season, so I'll be trying to obviously go after a championship, which I think I'm capable of, but gotta start it off right in the 500 next week.
It's going to be really interesting to see what you and this 19 team can do. And obviously, Frank, you're Joe Gibbs' teammate. Frank, anything you want to ask him before we get ready to go for duel number 2 here in a little bit?
No. I got nothing. I don't even think I'm racing the duel because someone put someone in my car, so
Oh.
gonna find out what's up with that. I will be there for the 500 though.
Going to be very interesting to see how that all shakes about. But Artaj, congratulations, duel number 1. Looking forward to see what you do. Obviously, locking yourself to the front row in the 500. So we are looking forward to see what you can do, not only at the 500 for the rest of the season, but we congratulate you on a duel win. And before we let you go, though, anybody want to thank, shout out, or appreciate for this little run here tonight from Daytona?
Yeah, all the dudes I was racing with in that race, Parker, Justin, and Shane. So, yeah, thanks to them.
Well, we appreciate your time up here in HVTV booth, Artaj, and we'll let you go. Get ready for next week here from the 500. Maybe help out your other JGR slash 23XI teammates here in duel number 2. But we appreciate your time and wish you good luck here next week from the 500.
Thank you.
Artaj Maan leads 24 laps tonight. He gets duel win number 1 here, and obviously looking forward into duel number 2. Obviously a little bit of a scary situation with Frank here. I don't know what's going on with obviously we believe he should be in the 54, but obviously Frank, outside of that situation, an interesting duel nonetheless.
Yeah,
But
should be a fun one.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what duel 2 comes about here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our unofficial race results here from Daytona here for your first duel. Obviously, we saw Sartaj get the win here and back there in P2. Miguel Rangel in the 33. Michael Thorpe back there, that other RCR Chevy Camaro back there in third. Rounding out the top 5 there. Greg Longslutter. Cody Meadows rebounds to a top 5. Obviously, he wasn't even in the wreck, so probably were able just to drive through and get a good finish for himself there. Parker Scherner back there in P6. Justin Johnson, after leading the field back to the stripe there on the white flag, he comes home P7. The rest of the field here laps down. Don Blazier, Scott Trusty, Mike Iskandar, and then rounding out the rest of the field here is that number 45 of Shane Johnson. Obviously, the RFM cars weren't supposed to be in this duel, so obviously out early. But obviously, very interesting to say, at least here for this first duel. But I believe duel 2 should be up sooner rather than later. I'll have to see there, but we are going to call it a night here for this portion of the Duel 1 broadcast here. We'll be back up here as soon as Duel 2 comes up. Obviously, Rhea had it set up to where it's two separate races, so we'll go get ready to end this portion of the broadcast here for Duel number 1. Another congratulations to Sartaj, man, as we look forward to seeing what Duel 2 is going to be like. And obviously, we thank Frank DeAngelis for coming up here and giving me some company here for the second half of Duel number 1 as we look forward to Duel number 2, and obviously next week for the inaugural Daytona 500 here for season 12. But once again, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race here for duel number 1. And we'll see you guys in half an hour, 45 minutes or so for duel number 2. We see the even number cars take the track here from the Wilton of Racing. But if you guys can only show up for duel number 1, we appreciate everybody for coming out. If you wouldn't mind liking and dropping the like on the broadcast and sharing the broadcast with friends and family. Try to get this network as big as we can. We'd immensely appreciate that. But from everybody here from High Velocity TV, myself, Frank DeAngelis up here in the booth, we say goodnight here from duel number 1. We'll be back on here and a little bit here for duel number 2 to see what goes on here. But besides that, if you guys can't make it for duel number 2, we appreciate your time and we hope you guys have a great rest of the night. See you guys here in a few.